There's a new social media platform in town, and Twitter doesn't seem too happy about it. 100 million people had signed up for Threads last week in just the first 5 days after Meta unveiled it, according to CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Threads is billed as a text-based version of Meta's photo-sharing app Instagram. However, it hasn't been entirely smooth sailing for the new social media platform. In a cease and desist letter last week, Twitter threatened legal action against Instagram parent company Meta over the new app. Threads creators have pushed back, but just how similar are these apps? Legal experts say much is still unknown about it, but people starting to explore Threads are already making their own observations. Some have called it a Twitter clone, but others note key differences between the two apps. Well, joining us now to discuss the launch of Threads is Brendan Caldwell, director at Caldwell Securities Ltd. Brendan, welcome back.
Thank you, Nima. Who better to get to discuss the intricacies of cutting edge social media technology than a 53-year-old? So let's do this.
My thoughts exactly. Now, Meta just launched its new social media app Threads, as we mentioned, but how exactly does this new app work?
The truthful answer, Nima, is I have no idea how exactly it works. My understanding is that when Mr. Musk let go of a lot of Twitter people, they walked proverbially across the street and were hired by Mr. Zuckerberg to create something similar. So if it looks and feels a lot like Twitter, it may be much the same people that made the one as made the other. So there may be for Twitter users some nostalgia, if you can be nostalgic about social media. Has it been around long enough? But there may also be some issues, as you alluded to earlier, the cease and desist order. If a lot of those people who walked across the street took their proprietary knowledge with them, that might end up being an issue for Meta. We'll have to see.
We'll definitely have to see, Brendan. Now, there's a lot still not known about Threads, but the user experience between Threads and Twitter seems to be very similar. But how is Threads able to differentiate itself from Twitter amid this competitive market?
I think their main thrust is we are not Elon Musk. So Elon Musk is very polarizing. He's done wonderful things with technology. He has really created the green car revolution, but not all of his ideas square with what's in the zeitgeist about how the world should be. So those that don't agree with Elon may find themselves wanting to have another platform. It won't be the first time that social media has been politicized, but I think this may be a new chapter unfolding as the big tech giants all go to war. I mean, they all claim to have hundreds of millions to billions of users. There's only so many people on social media. I ain't being one of them. But when they're fighting over the same market, it's understandable that in the modern era of technology robber barons, that when there was an opening or a vulnerability with one of the giants, another would go after it, which is, I think, what we're seeing here.
Now, we spoke a little bit about controversy around Elon Musk, but with other Meta products, such as the metaverse, now that hasn't been widely accepted by consumers as expected. So do you think a similar response would happen with Threads?
Who knows? Who knows how it's all going to unveil itself? So if Meta is doing something, businesses, companies, advertisers will want to be on board just in case. You're right, the metaverse and indeed the name Meta seems quaintly dated, although it only switched over from Facebook, a year, 2 years ago? It wasn't very long ago, because we were all going to do everything virtually. Well, as it turns out, not even young people want to do everything virtually. There is a desire for the human connection, so that companies would work entirely remotely, virtually in this metaverse just isn't going to fly, because there is this biologic need for a human connection that all the technology in the world, I don't think, is going to replace, at least not anytime soon. So yeah, Mark Zuckerberg got it wrong, but as you could fairly say, Thomas Edison got 10,000 iterations of the light bulb wrong before he actually got a carbon filament to work. So just because Zuckerberg didn't call it right on one, doesn't mean he's going to call it wrong on this one.
Looks like we've got a lot to keep our eyes out for. Brendan, thank you again for joining us today on Forum Daily.
Thank you, Nima.
All right, we have to go to break, but when we return, we're going to be discussing a new book that was published highlighting the historic roots of cancel culture. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.